Maybe you want to learn programming to advance your career, or maybe you're just curious about programming in general. Either way, this channel is for you. Welcome to Code Wizard. My name is Sam. In this lesson, we will review the most fundamental notion in programming: functions. What are they? How do they work? And why are they so important? Before going any further, I want to remind you that this video is sponsored by Sleeky Blocks. More on Sleeky Blocks later in this video. To demonstrate functions and to keep things simple, I elected to use JavaScript and HTML. This will allow us to get into the core of functions, how they work, and how we can use them without having to get too deep into a specific programming environment. Do we need to download any kind of software to be able to type code? I don't know, like Notepad or I don't know. Good question. And yes, I think it will be beneficial to download Visual Studio Code, also known as VS Code. This is optional, but I think it will go a long way. So let's get started. Okay, so first, let's just look for Visual Studio Code on your favorite search engine. Click on or look for specifically the download link, and then download the Visual Studio Code on your computer, whether you're using Windows or Mac or Linux. Once this is done, we're just going to be following the prompt. You will accept the agreement and select a location on your computer. And that will just be straightforward, so we're not going to spend time on this. Okay, once this is done, just launch it. All right, so as you can see here, I do not have any additional options. You may get options if this was your first time installing Visual Studio Code, but it's just about colors and things of that nature. So just take the most basic version of it, and then what we will be doing is creating a new file. We're going to keep it straightforward, and we can name it script.js. JS stands for JavaScript in this instance. Feel free to save this really anywhere. So I'm going to just go to the download and create it there for now. Okay, so we're going to go over your first function ever. And in JavaScript, the way that we declare a function is by telling the browser or whatever system is going to be using and registering this function that this is going to be a function. And in order for you to do this, you just have to use the word function. It's then followed by the function name, which in this case we are going to just show a message. So we're just going to show message, and it is case sensitive. So if I selected to have a capital S in here, then I would have to keep that whenever I want to use this function. But in this case, I will not have the S as a capital letter yet, and I will go over this a little bit later. Okay, so once you have the name, following the name right after it without any spacing or anything like this will be to open a parenthesis and close the parenthesis. We will review arguments later or parameters, but so far so good. We're just going to keep it this way. Then we will open a bracket, and because I'm using Visual Studio Code, it actually already closed the bracket, but this is what's going to happen. So you open a bracket, close the bracket, and the content or the function for the browser to run will be displayed inside this function. So for now, we're going to keep this really small. We're going to call another function called alert, which will actually open a pop-up. And in this pop-up, we're going to just pass in a message. To pass in the message, you have to make sure that you're passing some kind of a text. So I'm going to put a single quote or a double quote. It's not really relevant right now, but just know that we are passing a kind of a variable, if you will, to this alert, and this variable is the message. In this case, it's going to be a text. So we're just going to say, hey, hi, my name is Fu. Okay. We can and we should be putting semicolons at the end of each command. In JavaScript, these are not required, but they are highly recommended. So that's it. I created my first function. I'm pretty happy about this. I don't need to save yet. Well, actually, why not? Let's just save. So it's saved. I just went and clicked on Control S. I did it with my keyboard, but feel free to just go here with the menu and click on save. Okay, now what I wanted to display here is that I don't want to run this script into an HTML page yet. I just want to make sure that I know how my functions are working and what they are. So all I want you to do is I want you to highlight your function, right? And I want you to, and I'm going to zoom a little bit too, so it's actually easier to see. And all I want you to do is I want you to copy it, and I want you to go back to your getting started. Click on the three little dots on the corner and go to more tools and go to developer tools, and you have a Control-Shift-I in this case to go there as a shortcut, and this will open this window. Typically when you open it, it will actually open this way, right? But it's really hard to write code and view what's going on. There's so many things going on, so I like to keep it on the bottom. Feel free to move it to the bottom by clicking on the three little dots, and that will give you an option to where you want to dock this window. So all I did now is I opened this window. I'm going to go to Elements, and what I want to do is I want to delete every single element on this page, whether they are scripts or any other elements, any of the other HTML elements. Okay, so even the head, I'm going to delete the head. So all I have is HTML, a body, which is basically the content of this page, and nothing else. There is nothing on this page right now. There is absolutely nothing. Even though I'm on code.visualstudio.com, I deleted the content on my browser. Okay, I'm doing this to keep things simple and clear. So once I'm here, I'm going to just now do a Control V, or you can just right click and, well, actually Control V I think is the only option in here. So all I want you is paste the code that you just wrote and enter. So what we just did is we just told the browser that we defined this function called show message, and that if I call this function, it will pop an alert on this browser, on the screen, and it will have the message, hi, my name is Fu. Okay, so in order for it to test this theory, let's just write show message, and you see the browser already understands it. I do have to put the parenthesis to determine, to let the browser know that I want to execute this function. Click on enter, and the message pops on the window, as you can see here. Great, so this worked. So if I want to change the name here and put my name is Dennis, then all I have to do is copy it again and paste it again, and then I will just run this function again, show message, and oh, what do you know, my name is Dennis. Okay, so this was your first function ever. You see how they work. Basically, you define the function and then come to your browser, in this case browser, okay, and then you execute this function. Okay, it's pretty powerful. What I want to do now, I want to do the same thing, and I want to do something similar, but I want to change the name of this function. Okay, how about we just call it show message 2, because I want to introduce the concept of variable, because inside of functions we can declare variables, and basically variables will be your entities that store your data, your information, and that information can change. So this variable is basically, think of it as a box, right? It doesn't really mean anything. It just is a holder. It's a data holder. Okay, so in this case I'm going to just create a variable called message, and I'm going to give it the message of this text in here. Right, so now my message is this. Did I put an alert to this message? No, there is nothing in this alert. As you can see, there is no message. But if I wanted to pass the message in it, I would just pass message. Now I just told the computer that, hey, I create a variable called message, and I'm going to pass this message into this alert. right? So let's just copy and paste this function into our browser again. We defined it. Now all I have to do is just type show message, capital letter. I see the number 2. I put my parentheses and I click on enter. Sure enough, I get the same result. So using the variable, I'm able to do things that are just better for me. So one of the things I can do, it's another variance, is instead of having the message text being defined inside the function, I literally can just have this message here being an argument of this function, meaning that now the message will be passed into this function. So I don't have to define it inside. I will have to define it outside, and I will have to pass the message into this function, show message 3. Message at this point will be whatever I define outside this function. And all this function does is really pop up a window and show the message as it is. So let's just define a variable called message. And in this case, it will be, yes, my name is Dennis, which is not really true. It does not really matter for the purpose of this video. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to define this function message 3. Here we go. And I just said that so message, all it does is just an alert. So now if I call show message 3, in here I see that I need to pass something, a message. And I know you're going to be confused with, is this message the same message as I have to enter? Is it the same one as just defined in here above? Well, we're going to go over a few examples to understand the concept better. So show message 3, and I'm passing the variable message, which was here, hi, my name is Dennis, to this function, and let's click on enter. And yes, again, hi, my name is Dennis is the message that was passed. Now let's do something interesting. First, let's change the text. So now, message, if I typed it, you can see on the bottom that it says, hi, my name is Dennis. It actually shows me the value of the current message box or entity, okay? But I'm going to change that. I'm going to say no. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to change this message to hello, just no name. Once I do that, the browser is saying, okay, hello, just no name. Now, if I go back to so message 3, if I pass the variable message, let's see what happens. I'm getting the new value. That makes sense because I just updated the value of message. How about if I don't want to call it message, so I'm not confused about this anymore? Great idea. So how about we just call a new variable, and this time we'll call it text, okay? And we're going to just say that the text will be, hey, how about we try something else, okay? So this time, this variable's name is called text, okay? If you go back to our function, text doesn't exist anywhere in here, okay? But this does not matter because this message here is just a parameter, right? A parameter. So whatever the name I decided to use in here, as long as it matches the name that I'm going to be using inside my function, it does not matter what is the name of the actual variable or what is the value of the actual variable that you're passing in. This is just a placeholder that tells you, hey, I'm going to call this X, and as long as it's going to say that X is the message that I'm going to be putting in my alert, everything remains the same. So we can just go ahead and just go back to show message 3 text, enter. Hey, how about we try something else? Okay. Now we can go a little further with this. We can say, how about I don't even want to create any variables? I mean, you're kind of doing it anyway, but you're definitely not declaring a variable when you're doing this. So I'm just going to put the message directly in here. I'm going to say, I don't want a variable. Okay. I don't want a variable. So we have 3 examples. You can just pass the value of your variable or the value directly into your function. You can pass any variable directly in this function, and this function will use that as it is without worrying about it. It's just a data holder, and it just passes the data holder to your function. The function runs it, and that's about it. So nothing really special about this right now, okay? Now what I want to do is I want to do another example. Let's call it show message 4, okay? This time I want to pass a name, and instead of having the text as this, well, let's use this example here. What I want to do is I want to actually show the name of the person. I don't want to pass the whole message because I don't know what the message might be, but I know the format. I know that this function should always return something in the format that, hi, my name is, and whoever the name of the person that is using the function. The way that you do this is you can add or concatenate. So you can add the values together. So you can say, hi, my name is, you put a little space, this is the end of your initial text, and then you add whatever variable was passed in here. In this case, I called it name. The reason I called it name is because I'm expecting a name. If I expected an age or a number, I would have called it a number or an age or a city. It's still a text, right? From the standpoint of the browser, this does not change anything. You can name it anything you want. But from the standpoint of a programmer, it would be a good idea to name it as what it's going to be used, because you may have written a very complex function today, and you know exactly how and where you're going to be using it. But it's possible that 2 years down the road, you want to use this function again, or somebody in your team wants to use this function, and they don't understand if you put X, Y, and Z. They don't know what X, Y, and Z is supposed to mean. So it's very important that you use naming conventions that make sense, okay? This show message 4 is not a good example in this case, but it's just because we're doing this lesson, right? And most importantly, your argument must make sense. This is something that a lot of people make mistakes. They don't think about the future. They don't think about others. But when you create functions, especially now that you just started, make sure that you are using names that make sense, that are easy to remember, and that do not need you to go back to the code to verify and try to remember what it actually meant to be. Okay, so in this case, I just say that we're going to call this function show message 4. We're passing a name. This is just a variable. I could have named it anything, but I decided to name it name because this is what I'm going to be displaying in here. And again, I'm just going to be showing that alert message. Just note that I could have done the same thing directly without creating a variable. Okay, I could have done both. Okay, it doesn't really make a difference. I'm just doing it the first way so that it's clear that you understand exactly what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, but for the sake of this lesson, we will just be doing things clearly and one step at a time. Okay, so this function is created, is not created yet, sorry, but we will be creating it right now. I'm declared, so I just declared it into the browser. I'll go to so message 4, and here I'm going to pass my name. So open the parenthesis and put the value that you want. You could have created a variable with the name, or you can just pass the value directly. So my name is Sam, so I'm going to put Sam, close the parenthesis, and execute by clicking on the enter button. Oh, sorry, I did double parenthesis, no big deal. And now, hey, hi, my name is Sam. Okay, so first example, I hope is pretty clear. Drop your messages in the comment section, and I will review them if you have any questions about this. Otherwise, we'll be moving forward with another example of functions. How about we do calculate age function? So calculate age. And in this case, what you will need to pass is most likely the year of birth, right? So year of birth. Okay, so same thing, we define the function. I open the parenthesis, I defined an argument in here, and then I open the quote and close my quote. Everything is just like it was. Create a variable called age, and the age will be equal to the year of birth, 2024, which is the year that this video is made, minus year of birth. Of course, this is not the best example as far as calculation for the age. This is just a learning lesson for you to get familiar with functions and things of that nature. So this is an approximate age calculator. This is not even a good idea to use the current year hard-coded. There's other ways of doing this, but for the purpose of this lesson, let's keep it very simple. If I give you my year of birth and you knew this was 2024, you would know my age. So once I have the age, and you notice that I'm able to use plus, minus, multiply, divided, all these arithmetic features are already understood by JavaScript, and most, if not all, programming languages as far as I know. So once I have the age, this is now another variable. Okay, this is not a text variable, but for the sake of this lesson, it is just a variable. It doesn't really matter its type. And all I have to do is, same thing, I can even create a variable first, which will be message. And you're gonna ask me, oh, why are you using double quotes versus single quotes? It is the same thing. Single quote, double quote, nothing changes. So your age is, and I'm gonna pass the age. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the alert of message, close it, keep it clean. This should show me the age of whoever is using this function. So I copy, I paste, and I declared my function. Now if I want to use it, I just say show age. I'm going to pass my year of birth, which in this case is not 2000, but for the sake of this example, we'll just put 2000, and sure enough, it says your age is 24. So no, I'm not 24, but according to the way I wrote my function, I am now 24. However, something is missing. It's not really clean, right? Your age is 24. It would be better if we ended it with years old. So you see, you can add text, okay? And you can keep on adding text as much as you want with single quote or double quote, as long as you start and finish with the same, it doesn't really matter. And your message should be shown as it should. So if I use the function again, show age 2000, how about 1999? Your age is 25 years old. This time it's a full fledged sentence. Okay, so this is what a function is. Okay, I'm not going to go into a very difficult examples in this video yet, but a function is basically an action of some kind that you're declaring for the browser to execute upon you requesting the browser to run this function for you. Okay, of course, I did not show you yet how we're going to actually utilize Visual Studio Code to use those functions into your HTML page yet, but this is just the introduction to functions. I hope this was very clear. And now a few words from our sponsor, Slicky Blocks. Slicky Blocks is a product that me and my team have been passionately developing for the past 3 years. It's not just another website builder. It's a complete solution designed to help your small or medium-sized business thrive at a low cost. With Slicky Blocks, you can seamlessly create a professional website using our AI-powered generator, add your products and services, and even set up subscriptions or donation with ease. But that's just the beginning. Connect your social media feeds directly to your site, manage your shipping effortlessly, and utilize our marketing tools to boost your website ranking. Whether it's custom emails, newsletters, and powerful analytics, Slicky Blocks provide everything you need to maximize your audience and drive sales. Slicky Blocks, empowering your business to succeed online. Thank you, Slicky Blocks, for sponsoring this video. And please visit slickyblocks.com. This really helps us build high quality content that will help you enhance your coding abilities. I want to remind you that we just have scratched the surface. Functions are a very powerful tool to organize and reuse your block of code. I am planning to have a second video on the same subject where we can dig a little bit deeper. We will review things like multiple arguments or multiple parameters, returns, so that we can actually return data back and function definitions. Please stay tuned for that, and don't hesitate to ask questions or comments in the comment section below. Anything else we want to add?
Yeah, I got something. You have to remind them to hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, sure. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss out on the next videos. Happy coding. Good luck.